Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 0. And as much as I don't like to say and admit it, Arsenal Football Club are very, very good. They're very, very good. Bournemouth, I think, are 4th or 5th in terms of recent form in the league in like 2024. Bournemouth in 2024 have been very, very good, and Arsenal beat them 3-0 comfortably. They had enough chances to score 4 or 5 goals. Of course, VAR, the referees, was all a big mess today, but the way I look at it is Bournemouth should have had 10 men. Yes, you can argue Bournemouth probably should have had a penalty and the goal that was ruled out, but Bournemouth should have had 10 men. Arsenal deserved to win that game. I bored of talking about referees and being a bitter rival. Like, as much as I'd like to be a bitter rival and go, oh, Arsenal, let's be honest, sometimes refs go your way, sometimes they don't. Arsenal deserve to win. And if you look at Arsenal Football Club here, and you have to give Arteta a lot of credit for this, and I want to talk about Havertz, Saliba, and of course, Declan Rice in a second, because they were my stand-up players, and also Trossard and Tomiyasu. I want to mention some points about them. Arsenal got 51 goals in the Premier League in 2024. They've conceded 8 goals in 2024. That is, like, in 2024 alone, that is plus 43 goal difference. That's ridiculous. I think my club's on like plus 1 goal difference. That's kind of embarrassing. Arsenal also have kept, clean sheets in 10 matches more than any other club. Like, let's be honest. Arsenal, they were good at the start of the season, but in 2024, they've hit a new level. In 2024, Arsenal have been the best team in the world. This season, you can argue Arsenal have been better than Man City. I always say goal difference is a good metric to judge if a team is where they're at. I'm a Man United fan. We've got 2 more points than Newcastle, but Newcastle got plus 20 goal difference on us or something like that. Newcastle have been better than us. And I think Arsenal, in my opinion, have been a better team than Man City this season. And their stats reflect it. Most goals scored, least goals conceded. They've been so good. And if they don't win the league, it's just because Manchester City have created this ridiculous standard of you've got to win at least 16 of your last 17 games in a row, or Man City win the league. You've got to win at least 16, and even if you do, or even 17 out of 17 at this rate, because any point you drop, City won't. So Arsenal, even if they don't win the league, they've got to be proud of themselves for what they've achieved. They've probably been the best team in the league. It's just that Manchester City are sort of ridiculous with this sort of new standard and stuff. And I think they're still in the league. They're taking it to the very, very end. I think it's going to go to the final day, and you never know. Spurs, Wolves, they could take some points off City. But I want to talk now about Declan Rice. I really want to talk about Declan Rice. He was my man of the match today. Him and Saliba were 2 best players, followed by Havertz, who, even though I don't think Havertz scored or assisted, he had a very good game, and we'll talk about Havertz. But I remember seeing this on my timeline earlier, and this was from Declan Rice, and I want to talk about how Arteta's evolved him as a player and his performance today. Declan Rice said on how Arteta's evolved his game, positionally is probably the biggest thing that I've taken on this year. When you have the ball so much, just in terms of picking up different positions on the pitch and where you go in relation to your teammates. The other big thing that stands out, it's my highest goal scoring season and assists. I'm really happy with that. Every time I get an assist, I feel really good. I want to try and get 10 assists. I'm pretty sure he got a goal and assist today. I think only Kevin De Bruyne had more assists than Declan Rice also in 2024, which is quite crazy when you think about it, because he's a defensive midfielder. I guess he's been playing a little bit higher up lately, but Declan Rice has been insanely good. Like, goals and assists isn't part of his game, and he's getting that. And what I wanted to talk about with Declan Rice is, I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true, this was a Twitter quote. Apparently, Declan Rice said the reason he chose Arsenal over all the other clubs in for him is because he liked the project Arteta sold to him, the freedom he was going to get, how Arteta was going to develop him as a player. And Arteta has lived upon that promise, if that is true. Because not only is Declan Rice, getting ridiculous goals and assist numbers, but we know what Declan Rice can do off the ball. I wanted Declan Rice at Manchester United because he was exactly what Manchester United needed off the ball. And I said he shows potential of having decent ability on the ball. He just doesn't play for a team that dominates the ball. Arteta saw that potential, and he said, I'm spending 100 million on this guy. And the fact that no one speaks about Declan Rice's price tag, again, just basically tells you how good he is. Because I actually think Casado's been pretty good for Chelsea lately, but he still gets labelled a flop because Casado's been all right. But Declan Rice has been so good that he is a 100 million player, and no one questions his price tag. But what I see about Declan Rice is he's one of the best footballers in the world at what he does. Off the ball, his ability to intercept passing lanes, intercept the ball, positional sense, ground coverage. Like, he covers the ground. He does everything off the ball. He's done that at West Ham. He protects the back four. He intercepts things. He covers ground. He's one of the reasons Arsenal's rest defence is so good, and one of the reasons Arsenal have conceded the least amount of goals in the league. Saliba and obviously Gabriel get a lot of credit for that, but Declan Rice, he comes from midfield. I think Man United centre-backs this season have been quite good, and Tottenham centre-backs this season have been quite good, but Tottenham and Man United have conceded a lot of goals and shots because their midfield gets played through. Declan Rice and obviously Partey coming as well gives that compactness to Arsenal's midfield, and he does everything you want off the ball. He's so defensively good. But what I've noticed about Declan Rice and what's really developed in his game is his ability to turn and go. His ability to actually start to dictate the tempo of the game, get the ball going, move it forward, move the ball quickly. Arteta has developed Rice so much. Like Rice on the ball, positionally, the way that he plays further up now with Partey, his license is developed so much. Rice is given that Rodri-esque kind of like, wow. Declan Rice having his highest goals and assists season. He's playing as a 6. He now can show he can play as an 8. He is moving the ball, touch and go, turn and go with the ball. The way he's being used in these half positions as well, when Arsenal press, the way that he's actually facilitating the players ahead of him, moving the ball quickly. And when he gets the ball past, he's a good carrier of the ball. He's a good passer of the ball. He's obviously very good on the ball, very press resistant. But you're seeing this new player in Declan Rice that we knew he was probably capable of, but Arteta has brought out a different player in Declan Rice, and Arteta deserves a lot of credit for that. Not just that, but Arteta deserves a lot of credit for Kai Havertz. Like, I knew Leverkusen Kai Havertz was good, but Kai Havertz has been really good lately, and I think Arteta, again, deserves a lot of credit for, the development of people like Kai Havertz. But I want to speak a little bit more in detail about Saliba. I think Saliba was a monster before we speak about Kai Havertz. I think Saliba made 2 interception tackles that possibly Bournemouth could have scored from if he was. So I've got SofaScore up here to just break down this Arsenal performance. And obviously as a defender, unless you score, it's pretty much impossible to get more than like a 7.5 as a defender. And we will talk about Havertz and Trossard. I thought Tomiyasu is very defensively good. But you can see William Saliba here today. 1 clearance, 2 interceptions, 2 tackles, was not dribbled past once, won 4 out of 6 of his duels. Very lost possession only a couple times. Passing accuracy was high. Key passes was high, but he's just been a monster at the back lately. William Saliba has been a monster at the back lately. There's probably been about 7 times this season where he's made last-ditch tackles. He makes last-ditch tackles. He's so good on the ball, so good at breaking lines, playing out from the back, helping Arsenal build up. He's very good on the ball. His reading of the game is good. With Saliba, because he's fast, because he's strong, because he's athletically good, he's so difficult for people to get by. He's so difficult to beat one-on-one. People can't dribble past Saliba because he's quick, he's strong, he reads the game well, his anticipation as well. He's got the right level of aggression. I think him and Gabriel have a really good pairing. And I think, even when he made that run forward, he made like a run forward into the box, did that little cutback, almost scored. Like, Saliba's very good on the ball, very good as a tactical asset, build up progression, all of that. But he's so good off the ball, physically, athletically, that players just can't get by him. And he can make those last-ditch tackles. And, he's one of those players when they're quick, when they're strong, but they've also got to have the IQ, the reading of the game and the coaching around them, where you go, bosh, yeah, Saliba's a top player. But let's talk about Kai Havertz, because according to SofaScore, he'd be man of the match today. And Kai Havertz had 2 shots on target. He completed 1 out of 1 dribble. He won the penalty, had 54 touches, made 2 key passes. You might say, oh, these numbers aren't great. Well, no, they are great. 2 big chances created. 8 out of 9 ground duels won as well. Havertz was very, very good. Havertz is a very difficult role at Arsenal, which sometimes can be hard to explain and sometimes can be hard to break down. But Havertz's ability to hold up the ball and just allow the Arsenal players to catch up, to give Arsenal those extra bodies in the final third and allow Arsenal to keep the ball and control the game better in the final third means that Arsenal create more chances and they're more sustainable as a team. They don't give the ball away in too many silly positions, which also gives them time to get back defensively into rest defence. Havertz as number 9 makes Arsenal a better team. He's very good and he's, very good at sort of linking up play. 2 big chances created today. He can facilitate the wingers. He can facilitate players around him. He holds up the ball and off the ball, he makes runs that draws defenders out, creates space for someone like Saka to run into. Saka with space is ridiculously good. Teams now know to go double and man mark Saka and just kick him and kick him and kick him. Because, Saka does go off limping a lot and it is a bit of a meme, but he's kicked so heavily and he's double marked because teams know you just cannot give Saka space. But Kai Havertz, he has the ability to sort of create space for players and make them better. And today he was really good, should have got an assist. He didn't get a goal today, but he was so good in the sense of his all-round play. And Arteta's really developed Havertz into a top player. And when I look at Arsenal, when I look at the Arsenal team, and I look at the Arsenal lineup before, that is probably arguably the best lineup at the moment. Maybe Timber comes in at left back, but Tomiyasu, defensively, he's just a lot stronger than Zinchenko. Arsenal look a lot better defensively with Tomiyasu there. Maybe if he was available versus Bayern Munich, they wouldn't have been kicked by Leroy Sané. Maybe it could have been different, but he's just coming back from injury, and Tomiyasu is very solid off the ball. Ben White's obviously been class at right back lately. Odegaard, he's obviously a very good player, but I want to speak about Trossard. Trossard is someone that I do think Arsenal need to sign a winger this summer, because Martinelli's not really been at his best, and while Trossard is good, I think Trossard, because he's such a good finisher, I think he's the perfect bench player. And that's not me being mean to Trossard. I think Trossard's a great player. But you look at the Manchester United league winning sides, you'd have people like, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer come off the bench and really good players. You look at some of the players that Man City have had on their bench in the past. Do you know what I mean? And the reason I say Trossard for me is a great player and he's been brilliant for Arsenal. The reason I say he's a bench player is because he's just such a good finisher. He's not a world-class forward. He has a couple of limitations. But he is a player that costs like 25, 30 million for Arsenal. And when he plays, he's a phenomenal squad player who's very good for the team that dominate the ball, because when he gets the ball in a tight area, he finishes. Sometimes Arsenal miss chances, a bit like Liverpool. Liverpool have missed a lot of chances. Jota comes on, scores. The way I describe Trossard is clutch. Arsenal will probably want Saka and someone else to be their wing pairing. If Martinelli can find form, that's perfect for them. But Trossard is the guy you want to come off the bench, and the guy, if there's an injury, you want to fill in. He's never going to be this 10 out of 10 world-class player, but he was signed for like £25 million, and he is that guy that is such an elite finisher, such a good finisher. You're 1-0 up, you need to kill off the game. Trossard, 2-0 goal. That's what he does perfectly. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please do hit the likes on the way out. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. See you next time. Bye.